It was the last minute of a practice match. I jumped and scored the final goal. Our team captain, Michael, immediately swam up to me and gave me a high five. "You're on a roll today, dude." I had everything. My family was well off, my friends were the coolest guys ever, and I was on the school water polo team. However, things hadn't always been that way. Hi, I'm Joseph. Hit that like button and let's get into it. Ever since I was a kid, I had been different from other boys. I didn't like sports, and everyone thought I was a bit of a weirdo. I loved making people laugh and wanted to be a comedian. Look, I'm Mr. Banana the Hilarious. Dad didn't approve of anything I did. He wanted me to be a serious jock like him. "Joseph, stop this right now." I was always the life of the party though. My classmates loved my jokes, and their laughter was the best reward for me. But then, one day, the most popular guy at school came up to me. His name was Michael. "Joseph, don't you get it? They're laughing at you, not with you." But I thought, well, think again. "Okay, today's your lucky day. I'm gonna teach you how to be cool." Michael took me under his wing, and we became real bros. He taught me how to act, introduced me to his popular friends, and said I should join the water polo team. I couldn't afford to act like the class clown anymore. Over time, Michael became really popular with the girls. They threw themselves at him wherever he went. Eventually, Michael asked a girl called Tina out, and they became an item. Life was perfect. Dad was proud of me for taking up sports and no longer embarrassing him. But to be honest, I often felt uncomfortable, like I was just playing a role. It all began when a cute girl knocked on our door one morning. "Hi, I'm Brenda. I need to talk to your father." I got my dad for her. When he came out on the porch, my whole life was turned upside down. "Hello, who are you?" "Hello, Mr. Hayes. I'm your daughter." Our eyes bugged out as we listened to her story. 17 years ago, you had an affair with my mom. It was right before your wedding. Your fiancé was rich and my mom was poor, so you broke off all contact with her. Soon after that, she found out she was pregnant with me." Brenda said that her mother had recently passed away, but before that, she had told her daughter who her real father was. "Do you recognize her, Mr. Hayes?" Dad took the photo with shaking hands. It was the first time I saw him look so lost. I was pretty freaked out myself. It wasn't every day you found out you had a half-sister. Dad admitted that he really had dated that woman not long before his wedding. Since Brenda had nowhere to live after her mother's death, Dad let her stay with us for a while. "But I have a condition. My wife must think you are my friend's daughter, and I'm just letting you stay here for a while, Brenda. Do we have a deal?" The girl nodded uncertainly, and Dad frowned at me. "Do you understand, Joseph?" I took him aside. "Dad, are you really going to let a stranger live here?" "I have no choice. If I chase Brenda away, she'll tell your mom everything to get back at me. You don't want us to get divorced, do you?" Of course I didn't want that, and Brenda seemed nice enough, so I didn't argue. "All right then, I will deal with this later, but now I'm going on a business trip for a few days." Dad left, and Mom ended up the one looking after Brenda, none the wiser. "You have a very beautiful house, Mrs. Hayes." "You are too kind. Joseph, isn't Brenda sweet?" I turned green like I'd eaten a rotten fish when I heard that. Mom didn't know that Brenda was my half-sister and was surprised by my reaction. It was a weird situation to say the least, but still, Brenda and I got along really well. I even invited her to watch my water polo practice. "We're walking at a snail's pace. It's like you want to be late." "You're freaking Sherlock Holmes in a skirt." "So what's the matter?" My spider sense was quiet, and I felt like I could trust Brenda. So I told her I didn't really want to play water polo. I used to dream of becoming a stand-up comedian, but I had to change to make Dad proud. And Michael won't hang out with me if I'm no longer, cool. "Who's Michael?" "My best friend. You'll, notice him right away." As expected, Brenda spent the whole practice staring at Michael. Of course, all the girls were crazy about him, like my friend was that handsome vampire from that one movie. No, I didn't watch it. Well, okay, I did, but only a couple of times. Dang it, can we cut this part out, please? After practice, my sister even asked me to introduce her to my friend, but I said no. Michael already has a girlfriend, so forget about it, okay? "Okay. By the way, I googled cafes with an open mic and found one not far from here. Everyone can perform stand-up there. Want to give it a try?" "Oh, no way." I tried to leave, but Brenda was very persistent. "Go for it. You can't pretend you're someone you're not for the rest of your life." "Okay, you win." Her words awakened something in me. We came to the cafe, and I went on stage. Maybe I was too nervous or just out of practice, but my performance was a complete disaster. No one laughed at my jokes, and it was so quiet I could hear crickets. After an awkward pause, the audience booed me off the stage. Was I upset? Well, of course, but I tried to hide it. "You'll do better next time." I don't think there will be a next time, but thanks anyway. At home, I immediately passed out, but then I was woken up by a strange noise downstairs in the middle of the night. Armed only with my fists, I went there to investigate. Hey, who's there? I turned on the light and saw Brenda by the front door. It seemed she'd only just come back home.
Joseph, why aren't you in bed?
What were you doing out so late?
I just went for a run. What's this, an interrogation?
Don't you think jogging at night's kinda weird? Instead of answering, Brenda yawned and calmly went to her room. I didn't know it back then, but my life was about to turn into a living hell. When Brenda came up to me the next morning, something was different about her. She looked mean and was smirking.
Joseph, today is a special day.
Why is that?
Because today, you're going to introduce me to Michael.
I told you he has a girlfriend. Brenda smirked and showed me a video of my humiliating stand-up the day before on her phone.
What?
Did you film me?
Yeah, if you don't want your friends or daddy to see this, you'll do whatever I say. So be a good boy and introduce me to Michael.
She looked like a little devil when she laughed like that. I was so shocked I took a step away from her. Holy heck, we let a monster into our house. At breakfast, Mom asked me a bunch of weird questions.
Joseph, why is the refrigerator empty? Someone took all our food and all the money from my purse.
But all I heard was white noise because I couldn't think of anything but Brenda blackmailing me. That backstabber was so two-faced. Sorry, Mom, I'm running late for school. I spent the day trying to think of what to do.
Michael is your friend. You shouldn't jeopardize his relationship with Tina.
That's so boring. Don't listen to him. You don't want everyone to laugh at you because of that stupid video, do you? Introduce Brenda to Michael and forget all about your problems.
The demon's advice sounded more convincing, so I introduced my nasty sister to my friend. Brenda was making goo-goo eyes at Michael, and he seemed captivated by her as well. But then Tina came up to us and hugged her boyfriend. Brenda took me aside and hissed angrily.
I don't care how, but you must get rid of her.
That wasn't part of our deal.
Don't argue with me. You don't get a say in this.
Dang it. I underestimated that psycho, but I wasn't going to destroy Michael and Tina's relationship on Brenda's whim. So, at home, I took my sister's phone and was about to delete the video so that she wouldn't have anything else to blackmail me with. But then, I heard the clicking of heels behind me.
If you delete it, I will tell your mom I'm Mr. Hayes' daughter. I wonder how she'll react.
Dang it. That was much worse than everyone seeing my failed stand-up. I didn't want Mom and Dad to get divorced because of that wacko. So, I agreed to play by Brenda's rules. Unfortunately, I knew that Michael cheated on Tina and sometimes went on dates with other girls. I even had a picture of my friend hanging out with one of them. He sent it to me to show off. I found the photo and anonymously sent it to Tina. All that was left to do was wait for my friend to get dumped, which was exactly what happened. I felt awful and wasn't proud of what I did, but Brenda left me no choice. I headed home to tell my sister I did everything she asked of me. She's going to be over the moon.
You're mine now.
Ugh, that's disgusting. I walked into Brenda's room and she jerked in surprise and hid something behind her back.
What do you want?
I did it. Tina broke up with Michael.
Oh, yeah, Michael, I'm not interested in him anymore.
What? You've got to be kidding me. I blew up on Brenda and then noticed a piece of paper she was hiding behind her back. I was beside myself with anger and I yanked the paper out of her hands.
Give it back.
Let's see what you're hiding. What the? She had a whole list titled Getting Back at Joseph. And the worst thing was that the first idea on it was crossed out already. Make Michael hate Joseph. Can you imagine? As soon as I read it, I got a call from my friend. You're the only one who could have sent Tina that picture. I thought we were friends, you traitor. Michael went ballistic and said we weren't friends anymore. That was exactly what Brenda wanted. My crazy half-sister was obsessed with getting back at me for something. But why? What did I ever do to you?
Take a wild guess. You had a happy childhood, but I didn't. You had a loving father, unlike me.
Brenda kept screaming until I interrupted her. There's no proof. You're my sister. As soon as Dad gets back, I'll ask him to do a DNA test. Brenda suddenly turned white as snow and stepped back. She twisted her ankle, fell, and passed out. I couldn't leave her like that and dragged Brenda to the bed. Soon, she came to and opened her eyes.
Where am I? Who am I?
Oops. It seemed my sister hit her head. I called an ambulance. A doctor examined her and said it wasn't anything dangerous. Your sister hit her head, which caused short-term amnesia amnesia. She'll recover soon enough, but call me if her memory doesn't come back. I saw the doctor off and went back to Brenda. She looked like a lost kitten and stared at me with huge eyes.
So, you're my brother. Tell me something about me to help my memory along.
That's when it hit me. I could use her condition to my advantage. First, I hid the piece of paper with a revenge plan in my pocket, and then I lied my butt off. Well, you are the kindest person I know. You've always looked after me.
Really? Oh, all right.
Did she buy it? Great. The game was on. I stocked up on popcorn and watched Brenda walk old ladies across the street and feed stray animals. You know what the best part was? Brenda was at my beck and call. She did my homework and chores for me, and all I had to do was snap my fingers. Convincing her she was the most loving sister in the world had been an awesome idea. I even made up with Michael and Brenda's help.
I don't remember what happened, but Joseph said I saw that photo on his phone by accident and sent it to your girlfriend. I'm sorry.
My friend forgave me and life went back to normal. No, it was actually even better. After all, now my sister thought taking care of me was her life's purpose. And for a while, it was nice. I finally taught that arrogant girl a lesson, but soon, guilt started to eat me alive. One night before going to bed, I was staring at Brenda's revenge plan and decided it was time to tell her the truth. She should know that she hated me. Besides, her memory will probably come back soon. I was on my way to Brenda's room when I saw her tiptoeing out of it. Well, what was she up to? Then, she put the food from the refrigerator into her backpack, grabbed the money from our piggy bank, and sneaked out of the house. It was all terribly suspicious. I followed her and saw her meet up with some poorly dressed woman in an alley.
Here, Mom, I brought you some food and cash.
Wait, what? Did she just say mom? I looked at the woman and my jaw dropped. She had been in the photo Brenda had showed our dad. Brenda's mom was alive. What the heck was going on?
Sweetie, I'm worried about you. When are you going to drop the act? Mr. Hayes' son almost found me out, but I pretended I lost my memory. Everything is under control.
What? Now that I thought about, Brenda's memory problems began the second I mentioned a DNA test. She definitely had something to hide. I sneakily took a picture of Brenda and her mom before going home. Next morning, Dad came back from his business trip. I told him and Brenda we needed to talk. Look, Dad, her mom is alive. Do a DNA test. I'm sure that Brenda's not your daughter, but a thief. Dad glared at Brenda, and she shrank back against the wall, white as paper.
There's no need. I'm not your daughter. I just found out that you used to date my mother, and we needed the money. I'm sorry. I will return everything I stole.
With those words, she took off. Dad was happy that everything worked out so well, and I was happy Brenda would no longer ruin my life. Things were looking up. Days went by, and then Brenda suddenly came over when my parents weren't at home.
Here, I'll bring more soon. I dropped out of school and got a job to pay you back.
Wait, if you knew that we were not siblings, then why were you so furious with me? Brenda sighed heavily and told me that she and her mother started to struggle a few years ago. Her mom wanted to borrow some money from my dad.
But Mr. Hayes said he needed that money to buy a yacht for his son. After that, we lost our home, and now we live in a homeless shelter. And I hated you because we ended up on the street, all because you were too spoiled.
What? Dad never bought me a yacht.
Oh, I'm sorry for everything I've done then.
Later, I asked Dad if Brenda's mother had really asked him for help. Yes, but she's poor and would have never paid me back, so I didn't give her anything. You know, I spent my entire life afraid of disappointing you, but now you've disappointed me. How could you be so greedy and arrogant? I blew up on my dad and decided to help Brenda. I even organized a garage sale and sold some of my stuff, but I quickly realized I wouldn't earn enough money to buy a house that way. One day, Michael and I were coming back from school when we saw Brenda and her mom in line at a soup kitchen. I couldn't believe my ears when my friends started making fun of them. Let's move away. What if poverty's contagious? It made my blood boil, and I taught my friend a lesson, my former friend. You can't treat people like that. This is how you repay me after everything I've done for you? You were nothing without me. No, I was Joseph, and I will be fine without you. By the way, Tina was right to dump you. I won't be able to buy you a new house, but why don't you and your mom stay at our place? I could hide you, or I can marry you when we get older, or...
Joseph, stop. Neither you nor your father owes us anything. I know it now. but thanks for standing up for me. It means a lot. I still thought I had to help her and try to come up with a solution on my way home. My parents were fighting when I got there. It turned out that Dad had been visiting his mistress instead of going on business trips. Mom kicked him out of the house and left him with nothing. That was karma. Don't worry, Joseph. We'll start over. Mom said she was tired of being a housewife and would get a job. But first, we need to find a good housekeeper. That's when I realized what I had to do. I asked Brenda's mom if she would work for us. Come on, it's a great idea. You'll have your own room at our place. Brenda will be able to go back to school, and one day she will buy you a huge house. Everyone loved my idea. It was a huge weight off my shoulders. I didn't want to pretend anymore, so I left the water polo team and kept trying to make people laugh. I didn't succeed from the get-go, but I wasn't about to give up. My classmates became my first fans. They were definitely laughing with me and not at me. I haven't figured out what I feel for Brenda yet. Do you think we should stay friends? Or should I ask her out?